Hello, Dave Parrish here with Knack Builders, doing another Knack functionality video. If you like these videos, go ahead and like it on the YouTube channel or my blog. That's always helpful. But today's topic is a non-coder's guide to coding. And I say it's simpler than you might think. So there you go. I'm a non-coder. Believe me, I am. My degrees in history and business experience in operations management and finance. I am definitely not a coder, but Knack does have the ability to add some code behind the scenes in their apps, which adds certain functionality. I'm going to give an overview of what you can do. And spoiler to this, I'm just stealing other code and doing some adapting to it to let me do what I want to do. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back here on the topic for today of a non-coder's guide to coding in a Knack app. And one thing you might ask is, well, I thought Knack was a no-code app. I didn't need to. Well, it does allow you to do all kinds of stuff behind the scenes if you want to. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of clients that simply do not want me to use code. They found Knack because they don't want a platform where they're going to have to be wed to some coder. They've been down that road before and don't want to go down it again, and I won't even get into all that, but all due respect to coders. So when I'm doing stuff for them, you know, they're asking me, find a way around it to do it natively, because we don't want a bunch of custom code behind the scenes. And I actually thought, for my own practice, that I was going to need to learn code. And I did take some classes and do some stuff. I thought the ability to continue to get business would be necessary, but I found it is not. I have no problem growing my business without using code. So with that said, let's jump into how this works. Get rid of some of this. And here's how you do it. I'm going to show you the basics of actually doing it. First of all, I'm going to open a URL. I'll keep this in the instructions below. Or sometimes I just Google. Let me call up a browser here. You could just Google Knack HQ custom code. And what you're looking for is this thing called development docs. And again, I'll keep it. Now here's the different types of code stuff, but mostly I deal with JavaScript or CSS. If you go to one of these, it's going to give you the overview of how code works. But the real guts of this, for my example, are these examples. They have put in a bunch of different types of functionality. Common stuff you might want to use. Here's the name of something. Here's the code you use. Name of something else. Move in the sign-up link. Add checkboxes. Deal with crumb table. All kinds of different things. I'm going to leave it up to you to browse through this. So this is where you find, or if I said earlier, where I steal existing code and just adapt it to what I do. And notice this. I'm going to make this bigger. A lot of this has to do, when you're adapting it, is just a simple thing. Do you want it applied to any part of the app? Or do you want it applied to a particular view, a particular field, or it's going to be in here a particular scene? That's the basis of how I adapt it. That any will apply to the whole app, and a scene will apply to a specific scene. Now let me go pull up an app here and look at, I'll show you how to find that. Here's a scene. If I go up to the URL, up here is scene 32. If I go to a different one, scene 47 up here. That's where you find the page basically that you want to apply something. So if I want to make a font smaller on a particular page, I would insert scene 47 in that code. If I want to apply it for the whole app, I'd put any. That's basically how it works. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Here is one that I have an issue with often, and I often use code. This is for modal pop-ups, which I did a recent video on. But in Knack's default, if you call up a modal pop-up, you're putting in information during the form. If you click off to the side, it will get rid of that. It'll go back to the scene before. Now, if you filled out a bunch of information, you're going to lose it all. And I have several clients who just don't like that. So they say, can we not have this, when you click to this side, get rid of? Well, there isn't a native function in Knack where you can click a button and say don't do that. You got to pop in that code. So here's what I did. First of all, where you find to do that. Up on any of your apps, there's going to be this gear. And right down, it says API encode. Click on this, and you're going to have to know, you can look through that and see what different stuff is for JavaScript and CSS. But in this case, I've taken that code over there and I've copied it. It initially had a particular scene. If I only wanted that to happen in one scene, I would replace any with the name of that scene. In this case, I don't care what the modal pop-up shows in the app because we have a bunch of them. I put any and it will apply to any. So you just plop this in. And by the way, this hash and these mean instructions. So you can title what you're doing so you know what it is. Then underneath starts the real code. So I've applied it. I put it in here, made my little adaptation. Click Save Code. Probably in the live app, you're going to have to refresh it. So that's applied. Let this get refreshed. And if I put in a modal pop-up and click off to the side, it does not go away. Great little trick using a little bit of code. You don't need to be a coder to take that and make it work. Some other examples that I use all the time. I like to make all the instructions italics. I don't know if I have a good example there. I think I have it in here. Normally Knack's default is, and I just don't like it, the instructions in forms. Hey, you need to put this in this box, or watch out for this, or make sure you do that. Comes up as a straight non-italics, larger text, and to me and a lot of users, it just looks like it's another field or something you have to put in. So I like to make it a little different so it appears to be instructions. Well, in this app, I believe I did that. In that case, CSS is generally more for style of the page. JavaScript is generally more for serious functionality. Now, a coder probably have a much better explanation than I just give, but that's the general thing. So here, this is for change instructions on all fields where instructions exist. I've made that a 12-point font. Again, you can get this right from that document from Knack. And style italics. That's simple. If I wanted to make it 14:9, I can just do that. And that will apply to everything. And in this case, there was one change inventory on all transactions. This is a particular screen that has a lot on it. It's a history of all the transactions for an inventory app. And I wanted them to see all the columns on a page. And the only way I can do that so they don't have to scroll over it was to make the font smaller. In that case, that view of the inventory was scene 79. So I made this font where it worked. Now, if I wanted the smaller font to appear on all pages, I would have put any there instead of a specific scene. You can also hide crumb trails, and even on instructions, which wouldn't appear here, it'd appear, let me go to a field. If I could put markup language, or it might even actually be code, and honestly I don't know, but I could put a specific string here which you could find that has, it's just not words, it has I usually put a hyperlink in it. You might want someone to refer to something else before they're answering. You can put a hyperlink in there, and you can tell it to open a new page. So that can be useful too. I might do more on that topic in another video. So that's a general overview of how a non-coder will use code. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but do not be afraid of it. You can tackle it. If you can figure out some of this behind the scenes or more advanced Knack functionality, you have the capability to deal with basic coding. Some other resources to get code, you can go to Knack's community and search for things. There's a lot of folks in there that write how do you do this with custom code, or the custom code I have isn't working quite right. And other Knack folks who are active will help you figure that out, or you'll just find code that works, or you can adapt to yours. A lot of times that stuff is a little more advanced, but you might be able to figure it out. And then Knack, if you read through those Knack articles that I showed about how to use code, how to structure them, what the different things mean, and all those examples. If you just dedicate a little time, your learning will go up quite a bit. And there's another place if you want to even do more. It's called Code Academy. Spell that right. CodeAcademy.com. It's one of the main places on the internet where you can learn things about code. And a lot of times these courses are free. So hey, here's Code Academy. I want to learn more about JavaScript. Okay, that's one we use a lot. So, and here's a bunch of courses they offer. I think Pro is you got to pay for it, but right here, Learn JavaScript, Part 1, Part 2. Sign up for it. It takes you through a process. It's not simple in terms of they've taken their time to structure a real course. And so if you really want to beef it up, you can do that. You can do it on JavaScript, CSS, and probably even API stuff, which API I really have not included in this explanation. That might be another topic I have. That's for integrating two different cloud apps. And you can use stuff like Zapier or Integromat to do that in a non-coding manner, or if you need to do something specific, you're going to write some custom API code. So that is what I got. That's my, as a non-coder's guide to coding in a Knack app. Hope you found that at least a little bit interesting and useful. If you like it, you know where to like it below. Look at the links below if you want to learn more. And again, this was orientated for folks that really don't know much about code. And I bet I got some stuff wrong in here because I'm not a coder, and a seasoned coder would say, what did he just say? Well, you know what? I'm going to live with that because it's working for me. Appreciate it. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.